documenting the conflict in Ukraine, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the experiences of the people who are living through it and their contributions to this incredible national effort on the part of Ukraine and really on behalf of Europe. And I just wanted to start this show off acknowledging that, and also International Women's Day. And congratulations to all the women of Ukraine for the strength they're showing in this conflict and this crisis for Ukraine. And today's show, we're actually going to be talking about the real human impact and suffering that people are going through, specifically related to fleeing the conflict. And what I'd like to do is actually start with, we have 3 guests today, and I'd like to start with Olga. And Olga, first of all, happy Women's Day, and just wanted to welcome you to the show, and just tell us where are you from and where did you used to live?
Hi everyone, I'm Olga, originally from Kyiv, now staying in Lviv region. It's a western part of Ukraine.
All right, and what do you do in Kiev normally before you left that
I'm working for a big gambling company as a product manager. I have a team that is developing some kind of IT product.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit about your story at the beginning of the conflict and where you are right now.
So the war began for me, as for many others, on 24th of February. I have 2-month-old baby, and I got up at 5 o'clock to feed him. Took my phone and saw a lot of messages that the war began. In few minutes, my mother called me, said if my baby is okay. So that's how it began for me. I stayed for 1 night in Kyiv, but I felt really insecure, and I was afraid because actually because of my baby. I was not afraid for myself, but only for him, and decided to move to Kyiv region. I got a summer in 20 kilometers away from Kyiv. Guys, can you hear me well? I'm not sure about my connection.
No, we can hear you.
That's good. So I went to my summer house, stayed there for a night, but actually this village, this place is not far away from Vasilevsky, where military airport is located, that was attacked by Russians. During that night, several teams of paratroopers, I think, I don't know the exact word for in English, were attacking this airport. So I heard a lot of explosions. So understood that moving to that summer house was not the best idea. And in the morning, I saw some kind of soldiers, so some military technique on the streets of the village. So I understood that I need to go to another place, and the small village is unsafe. So I took my baby, took some essentials, and decided to move to the western part of the country. first I had no exact plan where we are moving, but luckily my friends, my colleague, he said that there is a place where town where volunteers can help us. So first we moved to Vinnytsia. It's in the center of Ukraine. Spent there a night, and then moved to Lviv region. Usually, road to this town where I'm staying right now took just 1 day or something like this. You can go here from Kyiv in 6 or 7 hours, but in current circumstances, it took me two whole days driving to get here because of traffic jams, because everyone is now moving here.
Yeah.
So that's my story. Luckily, there are a lot of volunteers, and I really appreciate their help. They provided a place for me and my baby to stay. I had no enough clothes for him, so they gathered something, and now he got a lot of stuff. So people here are really warm-hearted, and it's amazing.
Awesome. And thank you for sharing. And you also said you have family still in Kiev right now, right?
Yes, my mother and my 92 years old grandmother that is blind is now in Kiev. My mother is not able to evacuate my grandmother because it will be a real stress for old lady to go anywhere. She's blind, so any new place will be a stress for her. They also got pets. So it make evacuation also kind of not an easy task. So now my mother is there in Abalon, that is close to it's north part of the city, so the most insecure place. Yeah, so my mother is now carrying my grandmother, also helping pets that were left by other people. So a lot of neighbors left their pets there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to talk to her every day, but it's very difficult because here I'm in a safe place. There are not a lot of air raid alarms or something, so it's almost a normal life. But they are staying there they are sleeping even not in their beds, but in some place between flats to be safe during air raids. So I feel really uncomfortable because of this. I feel kind of guilty that I'm here in a safe place.
Yeah. And I know that is very hard, especially even for those who made it out of the country, like myself and some of my team members. How are you staying connected or dealing with that sense of being out of danger while other people are in danger? How do you manage that?
Oh, it's a very good question because I'm not managing it good. I still feel guilt because of that, but that's all because of my son. I had to move here because I'm responsible for him. So even my mother, she said that I need to move.
Yeah.
But it's very, very hard to understand that somebody here. It's a very peaceful place. Today, I was able even to buy coffee takeaway during when I was walking around the town. And at the same time, people are staying somewhere in shelters that are they don't have food, they don't have water. It's they are in danger. So it's a kind of very embarrassing situation. I'm in a safe place, and somebody is now suffering. And still don't know how to manage this. Maybe a good thing that I got here is taking care about the baby, because I don't have so much time to think about this, and too many time to read news. So I think a good idea is to do something that is useful. I'm still trying to find something, some kind of volunteer work that I can do between taking care about the kid, because it's very difficult to stay away from all that stuff when everybody trying to help. As I'm IT specialist, I'm trying to join IT army, so doing some kind of DDoS to Russian sites, or trying to connect volunteers with people who need help. But still, I didn't find place for myself. So hope to find something for me to be useful.
Well, you might have found a place if in the Borderlands, what we're setting up is a project for refugees digitally. So we already have a site where people can go donate or offer their homes outside of Ukraine or inside. Actually, we haven't worked on building the site yet, but our mission is to help people who are affected by the conflict by matching people who want to help with people who need help. So maybe we could talk about your help as a product manager, because we're about to start developing that project. So
I will be happy to help. Really.
Yeah. Well, good. We're going to have a meeting in Warsaw coming up and plan that, but we'd love to bring you in on it. So it'd be great to connect with you on that. Yeah. Well, that's good. I think you brought up an important point. It's the same reason why we started this nonprofit, and for me and my fiance and her brother, who's helping me work on this, all in relative safety. I think contributing to the effort when a lot of people are doing more, or we feel people are doing more, or in more dangers, is helpful. So I definitely feel that that need to do it, and actually that actually brings up a very good introduction to Volodymyr, who joined us here. And Volodymyr, it's great to meet you, and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are now, and what you're doing.
Hi guys, first of all, before 23rd of February, I was in Krivoy Rog city. This is my city where I usually live. I am a logistic manager in my office, and on Saturdays I provide English-speaking club for everyone in this city, for guys who want to speak English, improve their knowledge, and for foreigners who come to the city. Also, I'm a tour guide. I provide English-speaking tour in Krivoy Rog, but everything, all this I described, was before 23rd of February. My 24th of February started in Krivoy Rog when I heard like a huge firework, some noise or like of this, and it was 2 rockets that hit our military base. So after this, I turned on the TV. I started to read the news and understand the war is over in my country. It really came to us. So since this day, everything was totally different. I didn't come to my office anymore. So I got a lot of messages to my WhatsApp from unknown people to me, and they asked me if I can help evacuate people, because I write everything on my Facebook on the English language, and in my city, really there are not a lot of people who speak English. And all these people from the worldwide who wanted to ask something, I got a lot of messages from Australian journalists. They asked me a lot of questions. I also gave interview to them. And once I got a message on WhatsApp from unknown Swedish people from me. It was important human who lived in the Krivoy Rog, and they asked me if I can evacuate this human to the border. I said, guys, of course I can do it. I had driving license, but already 5 years don't have a car totally. And they say, okay, it's not a problem. It is so important human for us, so just go to the car store and buy any car you can. We want a big car to make this trip comfortable for this human. So I came to different car stores. They were empty because sellers tried to hide their cars in some safe place. Finally, I could find a minivan, and it was a huge problem to send money transfer to Ukraine from Sweden because all system didn't work. So finally, Sweden sent this money via SWIFT, but of course it should take about 3 days to transfer this money to account. And I think it was the first time in the history when the car seller just gave me the car without getting a payment.
Really?
It's also a problem that I got this car without registration to me, because registration in Ukraine was cancelled totally by our police. So now I'm driving not my car totally, but it doesn't matter. So I moved this person to the border. I moved it really quick. We did it for about just 2 hours to gather all our plans to pick up all around the city and to move really fast to the border of Ukraine. It was really a hard way for me, because country was totally different. We don't have signs, names of the city anymore. We have a lot of checkpoints every 5 kilometers. Humans with a weapon all around the country. It was totally different, and of course, plus this news that I read, I afraid the invasion from all over our way. It was completely possible. But finally, I could get this person to the border, and those Swedish guys told me that you did a really great work, so this car is here right now, and you can provide any kind of help to people as you can.
So you who is this person? You said human, but who is this person? He's from Sweden?
No, this is Ukrainian girl, a big friend of these Swedish guys. And
Okay.
those Swedish guys were ready to evacuate this girl.
Okay, so they evacuated their friend.
Yes.
So they, from Sweden, just sent you the money.
Not me, to the car company that sell the car.
Okay.
Yes. And also they gave me some money to make a fuel, because from the first day of this invasion, all the fuel stations were overloaded. Really huge lines. And on the second day of invasion, most of our fuel stations didn't work at all. So after the fuel was over, they stopped working. And now most of fuel stations, about 70% just in my city, are not working at all. Now, we don't have lines anymore in our city, but all around the country there is a really big problems. So when I get home by this car, I decided to make an evacuation routes for all the people who really need it. So these Swedish guys also sent me some money for these evacuation trips, because salary in Ukraine, as you know, is low, and people really didn't have, they really don't have some savings to such unpredictable situation. So these Swedish guys, understanding this, donate me a little bit, and I started my second evacuation route. It was a huge family, 5 children and 4 adult person, and also I had 3 cars with me. In Swedish call it caravan. They drove with me. Of course, it was were only girls driving, and it were a lot of children. So this way took us about 55 hours, because we stopped really often because of children. We stopped really often on the fuel stations, because I have a car now with a fuel tank of diesel plus extra diesel tank, so I was loaded with fuel. But girls' cars were not small, they didn't have LPG, only gasoline, so we had to stop enough often, and we had to stay in line. It was hard, so to the end of the first day, staying in the long line, we just came to Uman. Uman is about maybe 300 kilometers, so usually I did this way about 5 hours. This time we started at 1 p.m. and we arrived Uman about 11, so it took about 10 hours. We spent that night in a shelter. What is shelter? It was a kindergarten with some pillows on the floor. It was enough warm, and for me it was enough okay. I like to travel, and it was good place for me, really great. They fed us. I really thanks to these people who organizes everything, this warm place, this food. It was incredible, really. They care about us, really. In 6 a.m. when the martial law was over, we woke up and continue our way. So next day we spent, we could take only about 350 kilometers also. And the evening of the next day, we came to Khmelnytsky. It's more closer to the western part of the country, and we spent our second night there. So it was about the same kindergarten, and I could recognize that the quantity of people was much higher, really. And of course, the lines on the roads became really bigger, really longer. So the fuel stations all over the road were overloaded. Thousands cars, a lot of escaping, evacuating people, mostly from Kharkiv. I saw Kiev numbers, I saw Kherson, I saw Mykolaiv numbers. So all the cities, they were attacked and had most of ruins. So of course I understand those people who try to save their lives, and they just jump in the car and try to evacuate it. But the problem with fuel, it was, I think, the main problem, because a lot of cars couldn't go just to the fuel station. It was empty, so they had to wait for the fuel truck. For the fuel truck, sorry. I had tank 20 liters with me. I helped 2 people with babies, but I really don't know how long they can use these 20 liters. It's not really a lot. What else? Then we, at least to the evening of the third day, we could get to Lviv, to the border, and those people had to go about 5 kilometers by feet. Yeah, you can see the line right now. I filmed it when I came back from Lviv to my hometown, and such line is about 600 kilometers. So you can imagine from Chernobyl on the west part of the country to Kropivnitsky. 600 kilometers of such line. I couldn't get this family close to the border because it was a huge line of cars, and I didn't have a permission to go directly to there. I need lights, special lights on my car. I didn't have it, of course. I don't have it right now. I'm just a civilian who try to help people. So those guys had to move just with their own feet. I came back to Lviv and I was on the Lviv railway station. It is very really beautiful building, and right now it was really overloaded. I saw thousands of people, really thousands of people who were with the empty eyes. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to escape this place, and it was really horrible. I never saw. Maybe I saw it in the movies, but to see it with my own eyes, it was horrible. After this I moved other people to the border. It was some relatives of the wife of my brother. We accidentally become in the same city, so I moved them to the border. It was success for them. It was real hope, and no taxi working right now in Lviv, and it was horrible. Yeah, but after this, I tried to spend sleeping some hours, and I came to the stadium of Lviv, the largest stadium. It was a huge room full of light, and it were no empty kindergartens or schools. They were ready to accept us. They were overloaded, of course. You can see shelves in our store right now. Of course, they disappear, food is disappearing. And I moved, I made couple circles around this place. It were no empty, even a square centimeter on the floor. So I just took a cup of tea and moved back to sleep to my car. It was really more comfortable than to sleep there, unfortunately. Next morning, I loaded with humanitarian aid. I came to the largest center. I had papers with me that I'm official volunteer, and I load my minivan with the cargo right now and move back to Krivoy Rog. And so today I spent all my day sharing this humanitarian aid. Also, on the opposite way, I also helped to some people. It was also two women with infants. They also had out of fuel, and more than 24 hours, they already waited for someone who can help. They were waiting for the fuel truck, but they thought this fuel truck came, and this thousands of cars just sucked out this fuel for about 30 minutes. So they couldn't had even a chance to get some of this fuel, piece of the fuel. I gave them this 20 liters tank. I don't know how it could help them really. So today I bought extra 2 tanks of fuel to help to such people in this situation, because I saw really a lot of them. It is horrible to stay in a at night in a overloaded road and couldn't even have a hope to get any help. It's horrible, really horrible. Gas stations don't work at all. It's a hugest problem that I saw there. And what I'm going to say is that I'm going after tomorrow. I'm going to have one more evacuation route to Lviv, to the Polish border, and this time I will have a guy with. I don't know how to say it really in English, but this is infant about 3 months, and this guy has some liquid in his head, so it is necessary to suck out every, I think, 16-20 hours this liquid from his head. So of course in ambulance car need to take this guy to the border, but all ambulance car are busy. So in this case I had some papers volunteer on my car, and I will put a paper with a sign that I have a really sick infant in my car. Please yield, guys. Please let me go, and I will overtake. I will break all the rules that it's possible. So in normal life, police could cancel my license in a second after this, but in such situation, I have no other choice, no other ideas, just to escape this guy. Of course, I will have other passengers, other children in my car. That's what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Well, it's great that you've stepped up and helped evacuate people from your city. That's actually where my fiance's family's from. So, and also your president.
Yes, that's true.
With the same name as you. And, you know, just really appreciate you, you know, stepping up and doing this work and helping get people to safety. And it's a pretty amazing story that you had someone who helped you buy a car that's helped a lot of people.
Yes, that's all I do. It's really thanks to these Swedish guys that donate me some money. Of course, it's impossible to buy hundreds of fuel. It cost about 100 euro to take on the one side and about the same to the opposite side. Lack of fuel, prices of fuel are growing every day. You understand that lack of fuel make it, and also helping to other people. It's also not expensive thing, and I really thankful to the Swedish guys, and of course I offer to everyone. Usually I'm a tour guide, and now you can see my pay link. It's a pay link for prepayment of my tours, but right now I use it in really little bit different way, so I get money and accept them and buy it mostly for fuel. A lot of people, of course, ask me how much it costs. So it is the first question. I heard even some stories that guys in trains sell places in evacuating trains. Of course, our FBI kind of FBI interest and arrested them already. I heard a lot of horrible stories about humans who sell humanitarian help for other people. It's awful. It's terrible, and I think it's not normal to earn in the situation on the suffering people who trying to escape out of the war. And as I now have an ability to help them for free, and of course they ask me how much does it cost? Does it really free? Really, it's impossible. It can be. Yes, you can say thanks to all my international friends that understand the situation in Ukraine, that we don't have money really right now, and all the small savings were spent immediately. And my international friends could really help me to do this, and of course I propose you to help me also in this mission, and I will bring all the reports. You can see all the photos today, and after next trip it will be much more reports. Of course I will send it to you, everything.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, and we've posted the information how people can send you money for evacuation, and also I posted a link to your payment link below. So
can I add a little bit? Unfortunately, all the payments to Ukraine right now, it's too risky for all banks of the world. So people usually get declined as a first payment, and they must contact the bank and prove that they really want to make this payment. It's important because banks are really afraid Ukraine right now and send money here. So it's necessary to be proved by a client that they understand what they're doing and where they send money, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that's why we included the link for the credit card, but also the bank transfer details also. Yes,
Swift is also possible. It's working. So guys, if you can do something, I will be really appreciated, and share and tell. You can add me to Facebook, and there I will make all the reports about my mission.
Well, thank you. And you're working with people from your hometown mainly, or how do you typically?
Yes. I made a group on Viber. It's kind of WhatsApp, and now I have a line 200 plus people. Of course, I try to evacuate first pregnant girls. I try to evacuate first people with disabilities, people who need surgery, urgent surgery, and so of course I try to evacuate them. I don't have a big car, just 7 seats for passengers. Maybe 1 plus can sit on the floor, but at least for people who really need evacuating to save their lives, it's a good way, maybe.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that, Volodymyr. And last question. You've got a famous name from a famous town. How do you feel about your president in your country right now?
We live in a free country and we have elections every 5 years. So right now it is the same as my president. Next time it can be different. The person must be really well, not the name. We think about this should better.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Volodymyr. And I just wanted to bring in Scott here. Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you've been through in the last week or last 12 days. Where are you originally from, and where are you now?
I'm in Krivoy Rog, of course.
Originally
I
from
moved to Lviv and get back.
Sorry, I'm just Volodymyr. I was just asking Scott here. Sorry about that.
So sorry.
No.
no problems. If you want to share.
No,
All right. Originally,
you're already, Volodymyr's from Krivoy Rog. I think we heard that at the beginning. So, Scott, introduce yourself, please.
originally from Long Beach, California. Moved around because of my time in the Army. Did 6 years, did my university, and then I've been living as an expat for 7 years. And I've been living in Ukraine for 6 years in Kyiv. And recently married. About to be my anniversary next month. So I didn't get my wife flowers today. And she's in the room, so I had to be on my best behavior. For 10 days, I was with my wife's aunt's house on the far end of the west side of Kyiv. I don't really want to get into details where we were, but we were hearing a lot of explosions from the urban Bucha area, and unless it was, we weren't really too concerned. And it was about the nuclear power plant. That's when everyone, all my friends were all leaving Kyiv. It's like, we are leaving. And some people took trains out. Some people took like some private cars out. It was just like, it was just that right there, just kind of like let the floodgates out of everyone who stayed. They just want to leave. So this was on Friday. I got with I've been talking to my friends, and my brother-in-law he was in the Army. He got me in contact with a humanitarian aid. This guy gave me in contact with a church, and we drove over there. And my wife's mother. Sorry. All right. My wife's mother's friend drove us to this church. And he took about 40 minutes of his time just to drive us to this church. And we want to give him like a 500 hryvnia note, about say $20 US. And he said no. And that really broke me. Seeing Kyiv was very hard because I was hiding for about 10 days, and seeing Kyiv in a state of war was very hard for me. Like all the locations I knew where I took my wife to, and it was just very gloomy. And and the guy who took us to this, his daughter, and we were really trying to give him money, and he just kept saying, no, get out. And that really hurt us. He stayed, and he decided to help. That night we stayed at his church in the basement, and then the next day they loaded up the vans. One van was for the elderly. Then they put women in the second van, and then they said all the guys. There was 4 other guys, and it says, "Okay, you guys are in the back of the van." No one said anything. We all said okay, and I had no idea what I was driving by. The only time I ever saw sunlight was when we had to stop on the road for toilet breaks. We drove south, going to like Uma, and then we cut across, and then we kind of took some back roads, and we end up in Rivne. And that was, we stayed about 2 days, and then my aunt and her granddaughter showed up last night. And today we're taking a bus out of Rivne. Well, for tomorrow, we're going to take a bus out, and we're going to drive to the Polish border. I have some contacts in Poland, my wife, and I worked with a Polish soldier in the U.S. Army. So he has some families all over Poland, and he's helping me out. And I kind of told it on the first time. But yeah, it's really weird to coming into Rivne and not hearing air raids or explosions like every hour.
Yeah, how does it feel? I mean, you were on one of the earlier shows, and how are things just changed for you as a result of getting out? How does it feel to be out of the, I guess, the conflict zone?
Well, 10 days we heard explosions. Last day in the apartment, there were explosions very close to our building, and it actually was shaking the walls. And it was my first time I actually said, okay, we need to leave. That's when everyone's like, okay, we're all leaving. And
yeah,
coming to Rivne has been very different. We hear a couple of air raid sirens, but nothing after that. It's really weird. It's just go ahead.
And your wife, you guys you left family back still? That they're still in the Kyiv area?
Yes, they're still in. We still have family in the disputed territories in and around Bucha. I don't want to go into details. It kind of upsets my wife. So we're still, communications with them is in and out. There's really no power. Internet's down. Food is whatever they can have, and water sounds like, if I remember, still has there's a makeshift well. But there's been fighting around where they're living. So they're right now hiding in a basement and waiting for at least a ceasefire, or the Ukrainians to push back the Russians.
I must be difficult. I'm sure leaving, having family in the conflict zone, and I know for me also, my fiance, it's there. Krivoy Rog, where Volodymyr is now, is not under direct, but it's not necessarily a safe area. So. Well, Scott, it's good to see you out. I'm glad that you're on your way west here. We'll see you in Poland. What do you plan to do when you do get out of the country? What are your plans? How's this gonna impact your future plans?
It's really weird because I'm a long time planner. These last 2 weeks, 3 or 6 hour timelines. So we're going to apply for my wife and get a visa. We're going to talk to our family who wants to go to the U.S. Pretty much most of my family do not speak English, so I'm kind of afraid that if they want to go to the U.S., who's going to be really their sponsor? Who's going So it seems like my wife communicating Russian or Ukrainian to them and try and translate everything. Because I'm from pretty much living in the Southwest, so I don't know how they're going to adapt to this. But if they stay in Poland, we're going to help them out there. If we're going to do that, and then our family who's stuck behind, and then help them out as much as possible. For me, I'm thinking once I get my wife, pretty much we get our visa, I want to go back into maybe volunteering, don't care, logistics, supply. That's pretty much what I was in the army. Help people out. If I mean, I know I can't drive in Poland because I don't have the license for it. But if that means I sit in second seat, third seat, to unload trucks, I can do that. Or I can be at the warehouse. Or I don't know what else my skills can be. I picked up a couple of skills this situation. So I'm going back to my army training.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we also, I have a lot of people reaching out to us who are trying to get supplies to America, from America to Poland, and obviously from Poland over to into Ukraine, humanitarian supplies, medical, things like that. So we should definitely talk also. And I think the great thing about this show and what we're doing here is just being able to bring people together that want to help, and looking forward to talking to you about how you might want to contribute in that way too.
Well, my wife and I have been very passionate in Ukraine. We know it's not going to last forever. We just hope it just ends soon. But yeah, my wife wants to help, and just let her figure out what she wants, and I'll support. But I can't sit around and do nothing any longer. So I know I'm driving her crazy. So she's going to probably kick me out of the wherever we're going to be, and says, "Okay, you need to go. Just get out."
Go do something useful.
So I'm sending him contacts. What's that?
Should tell you to go do something useful.
And I'm
right?
going to set up. Oh yeah, and then I just set up some people, help out with some links, and then just try and find someone who will take a. I don't care if it's just moving boxes left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I love about this, the spirit I'm seeing in the country and beyond the country. Across Europe, we've had people volunteer to take in team members of ours that were in my companies that are looking for places to stay, because every apartment is getting rented in Poland right now. And people like Volodymyr driving people around the country to get to safety, and Olga, who's got her IT skills and wants to volunteer. That I have a lot of hope for the future of this country and this community all over the world because of that. unity that's coming from this, and that's one of the great things that we're seeing come together from this tragedy. Really, it's completely avoidable and heartbreaking what's happened and why, but people are responding in such a great way that I know that something good will come out of it for Ukraine, and I'm glad that you're part of that effort going forward, and I really look forward to recruiting you into the team, and we'll drop off supplies for Volodymyr at the border, and he can go bring them back.
Yes, can you fix the pay link, please? I send you the correct one.
I
It's
did.
not correct.
I fixed it on my Facebook. Let me put another one here. So let me put a proper one. Thank you. All right, let me see if this one works. So Volodymyr, you'd be able to meet Scott at the border, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Don't you afraid to
Excellent.
go through all the country without fuel on the empty roads with the checkpoints every 5 kilometers?
Always an adventure.
Yes,
So,
it's the most the big adventure in my life. Really, I had a lot of tours worldwide, but this one is the most adventurable. Really,
I can imagine what you're
yes,
seeing.
you will have a lot of memories.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, I'm going to just end the show like I normally do, and you guys are welcome to stay here with a brief summary of events. And my lovely show producer, I'll have to bring on one of these days, put together. And first of all, Women's Day in Ukraine. That's the most important news of today. Our mayor of Kyiv doing his work. And all the flowers were bought up here in Poland too, a day ahead of time. There's a backlog because of all the Ukrainians here also. I think 15% of the Ukrainian military is women right now, but they're still getting their Women's Day gifts, which is good. Leonardo DiCaprio's donated $10 million to Ukraine, and his grandmother is from Odessa. And Georgians showing their support for Ukraine, as Ukraine did in 2008. Same, I guess these are the same people all these years later. And this is Sumska Street in Kharkiv after bombing.
8 марта. Сумская улица, Харьков, родной.
And then this is the Lugansk area. And Ukrainian military getting a lot more anti-tank weapons from both Great Britain and the United States, which is definitely having an impact on the Russian forces' ability to advance. And this is the town of Zhytomyr, city of Zhytomyr, after a Russian artillery strike.
То есть школа, в której uczyła się moja siostra. To zrobili Ruscy.
It's a school.
Курят, to szkoła. I kurwa mają dzieci, a nie bombardować. Suki. Zobaczcie, pokaż, poproszę, pokaż to wszystko. Pokaż, co zrobili. Kurwy, jebane. To robili Ruscy. Ja będę tych pedałów kroił.
Over 200 schools in Ukraine have already been destroyed or damaged in the fighting. And This is a destroyed Russian missile system. Sorry. And this is some fighters in action in Mykolaiv. So that's the Javelin, I guess, in action there. And this is evacuation scenes, children fleeing the fighting, and amazing scenes of support for Ukraine all over the world. Pretty amazing to see the support that's coming from across the world, rallies all over Europe, similar scenes. And I have to admit, and I think, Scott, we spoke very early in the conflict, and I was quite worried for the country's future, but I've been inspired over the last 12 days to just see the stories that keep coming forth that the media doesn't see, but that you know, I'm hearing every day from people like you and Volodymyr and Olga and everyone who's trying to contribute. And Olga, it's just great to meet you also, and looking forward to bringing you into the volunteer effort. And you know, Scott, your background in logistics, and Volodymyr, your bravery in driving, and you know, your ability to help people in your town connect with the outside world and get money and resources to help evacuate them is amazing. And I just look forward to telling all of your stories and you know, helping to build this Borderlands Foundation to just grow the relief efforts. And this really helps. So Olga, why don't you introduce us to the future of Ukraine there? What's his name? Oh, sorry. Sorry. I was just saying hi to you.
I'm sorry because he's crying right now. His name is Alexander.
Hi, Alexander. Sasha, right? So, Alexander. Well, it's great to meet him, and for you know, for the rest of you know, Volodymyr's been evacuating a lot of small children too. Yeah, I'm really hopeful for the future of Ukraine, and you know, seeing all of the community pull together, it's great. And I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for sharing your stories and, you know, contributing, because that's what's gonna prevail here. And I truly believe in any struggle the strength of the society in general. The nation comes from everyone, you know, and doing their part. And I'm seeing that all across Ukraine and beyond. You know, people trying to help Ukraine from outside, and you have the world's support, and you deserve it. And I hope to keep doing our small part and grow that with all of you contributing. All right. Well, thank you everyone again. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Volodymyr. And we would love to hear from you again if you have any updates. And I hope that, Volodymyr, you get some more funds to evacuate some more people. And if any of you want to donate to the Borderlands, you can also do that. If you want to offer an apartment or, you know, some lodging for staff that we have, we're trying to help them get placed, and others who come to our site are looking for lodging. We are setting that up on our site, and that's one of the things we're going to be building out with the designer and developer is a tech component of Borderlands to help scale the impact of this project. So thank you everyone for watching, and looking forward to seeing you on another show. And we'll keep doing this as long as it helps tell people stories and gets more people to, you know, contribute and help out people in Ukraine and you know, back this wonderful community and country and nation. So, thank you, everyone.